Comfortable seat. And once you find that comfortable seat, allow your eyes to close. Take a nice deep inhale. Sigh it out. Allow yourself to arrive into the space, onto your mat, and into your body. Taking in the sounds, the smells, the temperature of the air around you. Just allow yourself to drop more and more into that present moment. Taking a full inhale here. Sigh it out. Notice the body release any tension here. Just kind of scan from head to toe, from shoulders to fingers, and notice the energy in your body. Today's practice is going to focus on that yin and energy and releasing any blockages, any areas that feel a little bit of stagnant energy, places that feel blocked, tension, things that just aren't flowing. And so if you feel you're very lethargic and you need maybe a little bit more energy during this little centering, turn your palms up. If it's comfortable for you to press your first finger and thumb together, you can do so in that mudra. If you feel like maybe your mind's racing from the day ahead, from the day you just had for those in Saudi Arabia, maybe turn your palms down, grounding you a little bit more. Just kind of finding that balance of energy. Just continue to scan through the body. Notice where you might be holding that tension, where you're feeling a little bit more stiff, where you don't notice any energy flowing. Today is all about releasing blockages. Definitely this yin practice helps us get into the body. A lot of hips today, a little bit of shoulders, but a lot of hips and low back. So kind of really scan into those areas and go into the poses mindfully. Take a full inhale there. Sigh it out. Release any tension in the neck and shoulders as you do. And then check into that mental and emotional body. There also can be blockages there. Notice what's blocking your mind from just letting go of the day. Notice where your mind wanders to, what thoughts pop in, what emotions might attach to those thoughts. Just see if you can start to become the observer of those thoughts. Those thoughts are going to come and go throughout this practice today. That's the nature of this practice. It's a very quieting practice, a very turning inward practice. But see if you can just notice the energy of those thoughts. And notice if you spend any energy attaching emotions to them. And then without judgment, without criticizing, see if you can slowly detach those emotions. Notice the thoughts. Maybe if there's a thought that continuously comes into mind, maybe you write it down. And then set it aside so you can go back to it and revisit it later. Just noticing the energy that we spend mentally during the day, as well as the energy we spend physically. We're just going to try to notice that energy and try to get that energy flowing better throughout our body during this self-care December. All of our classes revolving around self-care. Take a full inhale here. And let it go. See if you can feel the body release any tension, the mind release anything that's not serving it today in a positive way. So just for a few moments, settle in and just asking yourself what you need today. What brought you to your mats? What is your intention for being here? Allow that to be your intention for your practice. Moving with that mindfulness, settling into that edge of your pose with mindfulness. And keeping that intention in the forefront of your mind, allow your hands to come to your heart center, or one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. And we'll set that intention with that sound of Om. Exhale fully here. Inhale. Allowing your hands to release down. And then from here, you're going to come onto your knees. So if it's not comfortable to sit on your knees, you can always do this cross-legged. You can even do it standing, but I'm going to do it from my knees so that you can see me in the frame. So you can do the same thing in standing. So we're going to do the Taoist breath. So I'm going to adjust this just a little bit so my head doesn't get cut out. So with the Taoist breath, we're going to use our breath. We're going to go through this 5 rounds. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. So we'll start kneeling. So you can either have your toes tucked or your toes flat. As we inhale, we're going to take our arms up. As we exhale, we're going to push the energy away with our hands. And then as we inhale, we're going to scoop that good energy in. And then as we exhale, we're going to push the energy away as we round our backs. And then we're going to interlink our fingers. Inhale, reach the arms up. And then on our exhale, we're going to come all the way down to child's pose. So you're going to lengthen those arms back down. So I'll talk you through that. So every time you're opening, think inhale. Every time you're coming in, think exhale. All right. So starting again. Good. On your next exhale, fully here. But as you inhale, pull yourself up. As you exhale, bend the elbows, push your palms away. Turn your palms toward you. Inhale, bend your elbows, fingers to shoulders. As you exhale, press your palms away, roll round the spine. Interlink the fingers. As you inhale, turn those palms up, reach the arms up. And then as you exhale, folding forward through child's pose, head to floor. Again, inhale, brings those arms up. Exhale, push the elbows out and palms away. Inhale, scoop that energy in, fingers to shoulders. Exhale, round the spine, push that negative energy away. Inhale, interlink the fingers, reach it up. As you exhale, fold it down, forehead to floor. 3 more times. Inhale is going to sweep those arms up. Exhale, bend the elbows, push the energy away. Good. Inhale, fingers to shoulders, pull the energy in. Exhale, round the spine, push the energy away. Good. As you inhale, interlink the fingers, sweep those arms up. And then as you exhale, bow it forward, hands to floor, forehead to floor. 2 more times. Inhale, reaches you up. Exhale, away. Inhale, draws you in. Exhale, arms forward. Interlink the fingers. Inhale, sweep the arms up. As you exhale, lengthen it forward. Last round here. Inhale brings you up. Exhale, press it away. Inhale, arms in. Exhale, push palms out. Interlink the fingers. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, release it all the way down. Settle into child's pose. So whatever that means for you, maybe it's over closed knees, maybe it's wide knees, maybe arms forward to the side or behind. So settle in here. We're going to settle in here for at least 1 minute. And just notice the energy. Notice what's moving. Notice your breath. Dropping in here. Nice full inhales and exhales. About 3 more deep breaths here. Notice that energy along the spine. Notice the energy of your breath. See if you can notice anywhere that feels a little tight, a little tension. Send the breath there. Release that tension, that blockage. And then on your next inhale, slowly press yourself back up. If you need to do a little cat-cow, exhale here, releasing that, find a little motion in the spine, just kind of check in. We're going to go into a pose called dangle. So it's going to be a standing pose. So when you're ready, slowly make your way to standing. And so once you are standing, you're going to just allow your feet to be wherever they need to be so that you can put a little bend into your knees. You're going to let yourself round forward. Let your head release. Hands can be on blocks if you feel like you need a little bit more support for your upper body. If you feel like you're feeling okay this morning, maybe you interlink opposite hands and elbows. And then you just allow yourself to drop down. So knees are slightly bent. You're just rounding forward, growing heavy in the upper body. We're going to drop in here for about 3 minutes. So most of our poses are going to be about 3 minutes on each side. Just allow yourself to drop in here. Letting the head be heavy. And if at any time this becomes too intense, come back down into child's pose. Letting the back of your neck grow long. Nice full breaths. So when we're working with energy, there's different types of energy in our yin practice. It's that softer side, that cooler side. You might feel a little bit of heat now from the movement of that breath. As we start to drop into this yin practice, this dangle pose, it affects all of the chakras, all the way from our root chakra to the top of our head, with that rounding forward of the spine, taking it in an opposite direction than we normally walk around in every day. So maybe you start to feel that energy along the spine where those chakras are. Then you have the meridians, those meridians of energy channels that run through the body, from toes to fingers, from toes to head. And those meridians we're engaging here, the main ones, the urinary bladder, the liver, the spleen, and the kidney meridians. Those are the major ones running from the front of the body and the back of the body, compressing some of them, expanding others. Just kind of notice the energy. You might start to feel a different little energy in the legs, maybe in the feet from all the standing on them. Continue to release and relax. Use your breath, finding that place of discomfort where you can sit, where you can stand, I guess, right now, where you can stay in that edge of discomfort, that little stress in the body. And using your breath to take you a little bit deeper if you need to. Kind of notice the energy in the mind as well. When we place ourselves in places of discomfort, our mind can wander away. Just notice what energy you're sending out mentally. Bring that back to the present. Noticing those sensations in the body. On your next exhale, side out. Bring those hands to the floor, bend into those knees. Bring yourself all the way back into that child's pose. So just mindfully come down into child's pose and just drop in there. Notice the energy. Notice what's happening in the body. Kind of noticing the effects of that pose on your body. And exhale fully there. And as you inhale, pull yourself forward to those hands and knees again. Maybe you find a little cat-cow to release that pose. And then from here, we're going to come into that ankle toe stretch. So again, if your toes, I know some of you have some toe recoveries going on. If doing the pointing and flexing through our feet, so I'm just going to tilt this down again. From kind of tucking our toes under, whatever, bring a block underneath you, maybe even two, so that you have less pressure on those toes, just so you're not putting too much pressure on the toes. For those that can sit all the way down onto your heels, go ahead and do that. But we're going to do this for 3 minutes. So we'll do 30 seconds each way, 3 rounds. So that is where we're headed to. So we're going to start with our toes tucked. And I know my little pinky toe likes to get stuck behind my 4th toe. So I want to just bring that out so that you can feel all that energy there. And just settle in here. Our first pose. So all the meridians kind of go down toward our toes. So we're getting all those meridians here in this ankle toe stretch. The chakras we're working with here, the first, that root chakra, then also that first, or their forehead, your crown, and then third eye chakras. And then slowly start to point the toes back, sitting back on those heels. And again, if this does not feel good, you have that block that you can slide underneath your heels. And then seeing if you can actually get those heels to go right underneath those sit bones. So you have your sit bones, and then they're right into those like right below those sit bones, closer to your hamstrings. There's a big meridian that runs right through there. It's a good compression of it. And then slowly make your way back up onto those toes. Sitting it back. Just kind of notice those sensations in the legs, in the ankles, definitely in the toes. Notice where your thoughts go. It's been a long time since we've done this one. And go ahead and point those toes again. And if you're comfortable here and you don't feel a lot of sensation when you sit back on your heels, maybe you start to lift those knees. Right? Sometimes I like to bring a little block underneath them. So there's just a little extra stress in the front of the ankle if you don't feel a lot of stress in the ankle. And then our last round of each, come back to those tuck toes. If this feels good to you, most of you, I think, have done my 14-day challenge, where you do this for up to 1 minute each round for 3 minutes, and you try to do that for 14 days, and just kind of notice the energy. There's a lot of great energy that happens once you work those meridians. This might be the only yin pose you need. And then last time, drop it down, sit on those heels, draw those knees back if it feels good, or just sitting here, maybe even just leaning back sometimes gives you a little bit more. Slowly releasing that. Shift your weight forward, shift your hips to one side so you can just bring those shins forward, extend the legs out. And just notice those sensations in the toes, fronts of the feet, the front of the shin. A lot of times I like to close my eyes and just kind of really notice where you feel that energy. It could be heat, it could be tingling. There's definitely energy happening there. There's energy flowing. Sometimes we feel it in the knees if our knees are bothering us a little bit. So today, to get into our bodies a little bit more and get into that sensation of energy moving, we're going to kind of link 3 poses together before going to the next side. So go into them mindfully, go with that first edge. Don't go too deep into that first edge. But before we get there, just point and flex through the feet. Maybe give your ankles some circles. Just kind of let that pose go. So our first pose is going to be shoelace pose that we're going to go into. So I usually like to sit up on a blanket just to give my hips some lift at the beginning, and then you can always slide that blanket out. I like to angle my blanket so that my sit bones will be right on that little front bent corner of the blanket. And so you're going to take your left leg under your right leg. So your right leg is going to be on top, your left leg is going to be underneath. And again, if you need to sit your hips up higher so that you can get those knees stacked, do that. Then just kind of notice how this feels, right? Breathing into this here. So you have the options to just stay with the legs and not do any arms. If you feel like you need a little bit of a shoulder stretch, I'm going to give you an option for your shoulders, but we'll be here 3 minutes. Just kind of settle in. If you don't need the blanket, if you need a little bit more sensation in your hips, pull the blanket out. If you want a little bit more sensation, you can always lean forward. That's going to definitely get you into your hips. So just kind of find that first edge, that place of discomfort that you can sit in. Breathe in here. Maybe take an exhale to drop in. If you feel like you might need a little bit of a neck stretch, if you're feeling tight in your neck, you're going to take your left hand, slide it behind you, and then take your right ear to your right shoulder. Breathing into that. So here in shoelace pose, we're definitely focusing on the first and second chakra. That root chakra and the sacral chakra. Just noticing the energy in those areas. In the meridians, we have the liver, the kidney, the gallbladder, the urinary bladder, especially the urinary bladder if you're folding forward. If you've tilted your head to the right, bring your head back up to center. Release that left hand. Take that right arm, slide it behind you, and drop your left ear to your left shoulder. Let that arm behind you just be relaxed. There's no need to hold on to anything. Your forearms just pressing into the low back. Noticing the sensations in the body, noticing the energy. Slowly start to bring that head back to center. Take that right arm out. Pausing here, we have another 30 seconds. So you can either stay here or you can start to fold forward if that's where your body's calling you to go. Exhale fully here. You're going to go very mindfully and slow. You do not need to rush. You're going to slowly bring that right leg up. Bring it forward, pause. And then you're going to send it back into swan. So that leg's going to come all the way back. If that doesn't feel good, go into that 90-90 sit. You're going to come all the way back, roll yourself onto that front shin. And then this is where you might need some padding underneath your hips. But you're on that front shin. Be mindful of that front knee. So your knee is right over your calf. And then you're going to start to lengthen forward. So we're coming into swan. So sleeping swan. So if I were to be here on this side, so you can see this angle, my heel and my bum are in line. If this does not feel good on your knee, you can slightly turn that in like pigeon, or we're coming into swan, lengthening it forward. Again, dropping in here. There's a lot of compression onto that front knee, that front ankle. You're extending and lengthening what we've compressed on that right side. Let's see if you can soften in the shoulders and neck. Maybe your head rests on a block or on the floor. So here, once again, we have the liver, the kidney, the gallbladder, the urinary bladder. We also have the stomach and the spleen meridians. And then if your arms are extended out in front of you, overhead toward the top of your mat, you're getting into that liver, or sorry, the heart and the lung meridians, the heart and the lung. And that chakra energy, we're still dropping into that first and second chakra. If the top of your head or your forehead is resting on a block or the floor, you're definitely stimulating that third eye chakra, right in the middle of your forehead. And if it's comfortable in your spine and you're tucking your chin, you're definitely going to affect that throat chakra. If you can let go and soften anywhere. Feel like you need a deeper edge, you can always tuck your back toe and kind of lengthen that back leg back a little bit more, and then uncurl the toe and let that energy just kind of drop and release. Just kind of lengthens out the area between knees, stressing in the pelvis a little bit more and those inner groins. Notice the quality of your breath. Notice if you're gripping in the shoulders or in the jaw. See if on your next exhale you can release that. Full exhale there. Slowly and mindfully bring yourself up, no rush. You're going to roll yourself toward that left side. Take that right leg, bring it all the way forward. And then you're going to bring the soles of your feet together, coming into that little diamond shape. So it's not super close to your hips, it's that little diamond shape, coming into that butterfly, long-legged butterfly, and then start to round forward. So here we're rounding the spine, dropping the forehead down. If you can, rest your forehead either on a block, on a bolster, on your hands, whatever you can, but try to get that third eye down to something. So you might need to really stack things up and then really round into the spine. So you want to target the spine and the hips here. So find that place of your edge to settle in. Let your shoulders release. Once you've found your edge and your place of stillness, exhale fully. Drop in. And here, once again, we're dropping into this long-legged butterfly, the chakra energy that we're dealing with, that first and second. And you're also feeling a little bit as you're tucking your chin, that throat chakra, definitely that third eye chakra. Maybe even all the way up to that seventh chakra, the crown chakra. Maybe you're even feeling that energy start to spiral up the spine as you continue to round into the spine and drop into this space. And physically, we're definitely affecting the spine, the hips, the low back. Depending on where your arms are, maybe the shoulders. And that meridian energy moving along that liver, the kidney, the gallbladder, the urinary bladder. Notice what sensations happen these next few breaths if you breathe a little bit deeper. So maybe take that breath a little bit deeper, maybe inhale a count of 4 or 5, matching it with an exhale of a count of 4 or 5. Trying to stay as much as possible with the body in the present moment. This is one of those poses where our mind likes to run away, likes to go off in a storyline. Completely normal, so no judgment if your mind has. Just bring it back to the sensations in the body. Let go of any emotions that have bubbled up with that storyline. On your next exhale, side out the mouth. And then one vertebra at a time, slowly make your way up. Let that head be the last thing to rise. Take a moment there. Then using the assistance of your hands, draw those knees up, take the legs out straight, and just pause there before you do any movement. Just notice the sensations happening. Notice that little rebound of the pose. Maybe you can actually feel that energy start to circulate through the body. And then when you're ready, take any motions you need to, any movements to let that pose go. Maybe a point and flex of the feet, maybe little windshield wipers, whatever's going to feel best to you. Just kind of let go of that series, that round. And then when you're ready, we'll go to the second side. So starting with that left leg on top. Again, you can use that blanket under you. So just take some time to get into the first pose. The first pose is usually the trickiest. So right leg is under the left. Just kind of adjust yourself so you can get those knees stacking as best as possible. Use as much props as you need. And then just kind of settle in, knowing that each side is going to be a little bit different. So you're dropping in here, adjusting as you need. And then once you found your edge, exhale fully. Notice those sensations. And again, if you can stay upright, maybe you stay upright, maybe you lean forward slightly. That's going to get deeper into those hips. We'll definitely lean forward toward the end. You can even go forward since we've already stretched our shoulders a little bit. Maybe this round you drop totally forward. So it's your choice. If you feel like you want to continue to stretch maybe into the neck, shoulders, maybe sideways, you're going to take your right arm, reach it up to the sky, drape it over your head, and then start to lean a little bit to the left so you feel that side stretch. That left arm is going to kind of be a kickstand, and then maybe you turn your chin down to that bottom shoulder. So you got a neck stretch, you got a sideways stretch. If having it as a kickstand doesn't work for you, you can always bend your elbow and place a block underneath your elbow if you need a little bit more edge. So if you are doing this stretch, not only are you getting into those kidney, liver, gallbladder, you're also doing the heart and lung meridians that run along the lines of the arms, inner and outer lines of those arms. Definitely targeting the hips and the side waist here, the neck, the spine. To come out of this, if that right arm is over your head, take it all the way down to your right side. Draw your head back to neutral as you press yourself up, and then just pause there. Notice the effects and the energy flowing on that right side. And bring your attention to the left side. And then from here, you're going to take that left arm, reach it up to the sky, take that over your head, let it drape over, and then walk that right arm out to the side, use it as a kickstand or use a block under your elbow, and then turn your chin toward your bottom shoulder. And drop in there. Again, notice how the breath affects the pose. Find your place where you can sit in discomfort. Bringing new energy toward those areas of stress. If that left arm is overhead, on your inhale, take it up to the sky and down. And then slowly bring the head back to neutral as you press yourself up. Again, kind of notice the right side and left side. And then either stay upright or maybe start to lean forward a little bit. About 40 more seconds here. About 5 or 6 really deep, long breaths. Breathing into that sensation in the hips, the knees, the ankles. Exhale fully here. Slowly bring yourself up. And then again, with intention, with mindfulness, there's no rush. Taking that left knee up. Pause once it's up, help it out. And then as you're ready, start to lengthen forward, take that left leg back. So again, you can be in that little 90-90 sit or extend it all the way back. Seeing if you can stack that front knee over the shin, pointing the toes straight back, and then coming into that sleeping swan. So if you need any padding underneath your hips, allow that to be there. That's just going to take a little pressure off that knee. You can either stay upright or you can start to lengthen forward, whatever's going to feel best in your body. But then once you get there, just kind of release into the shoulders, relax it down. Taking your time, noticing those sensations as you transition from one pose to the other. If it's possible, resting that forehead either on your hands or on the floor or on a block. And again, if you need that deeper edge, tucking that back toe, lift the knee, kind of press the hips back, wiggle that leg back, and then drop the knee again, and then lengthen the toe out. So that's just going to create a little deeper sensation, especially that compression of that heel into the inner groin or back of your hamstring on that right side. Unless you angled your knee because you need that for your knee. So again, you're taking care of yourself, listening to what your body needs. It feels good to tuck the chin, allow that chin to tuck so you're stimulating that throat chakra. See if you can acknowledge the expansion of the back body, noticing the sensations that go along with that. Noticing those sensations on the front body, all that compression, that dropping down to the mat. Exhale fully here. Again, with mindful intention, slowly bring yourself up and then roll toward that right hip. Drawing that left leg in, drawing the soles of the feet together for that long-legged butterfly. Bring those soles together and then start to round forward when you're ready, dropping down. Letting that head rest on something. And if your head can rest on something and it's okay for your arms, maybe your arms reach out in front of you. Just finding a little bit more length and rounding in that spine. A little bit more stress in the hips. As always, if it's too much under the knees on that outer knee, you can slide those blocks underneath your upper thighs. Just giving them a little bit more support, but find your edge, find that place where you can sit in that discomfort. Just kind of let yourself sit in that energy of discomfort. Notice what happens in the mind, what happens in the body. And then change the narrative a little bit with your breath. Allow that breath to be a little bit deeper, a little bit slower. Notice how that affects the body. Notice how that affects the thoughts. In times of stress or in times of rushing around, times where we feel like our energy is everywhere, just cueing into that breath, dropping into the breath. is the best self-care we can have. Switching our narrative from that fight, flight, or freeze into that rest and restore, just by using that breath. Your body feels that rest and restore position here with those deeper breaths and that stillness. And you can find this and create it again during your day when you're hustling and bustling around, just by using the breath. About 1 more minute here. During this last minute, see if you can tap into all of your sensations, the sounds around you, the smells, the temperature, the sensations in your physical body. Closing your eyes and noticing what colors or what is passing behind those eyelids. Allowing yourself to really drop more and more into this present moment. Really being present with all of your surroundings, all of your sensations. And even dropping into that sixth sense. What do you notice? What do you sense? Exhale fully here. With slow intention, round your spine up. Allow that head to be the last thing to rise. And then allowing those knees to be helped up with your hands, and then take those legs out straight. And again, just pause there. Noticing those sensations happening. The rebound of the pose, that energy circulating from where it's been compressed, rushing through those areas of expansion, maybe feeling more free, less tension. And then taking any movements you need to here. Let it go. Rocking it out. And then from there, you're going to make your way onto your back. So once we're on our back, we're going to come into happy baby. So in happy baby on your back, there's going to be a few different options. If you have your strap, sometimes that feels good to use your strap. So if you do have a strap, before you lay onto your back, lengthen it out to the longest space. So hopefully you have a buckle. If you don't have a buckle, it's fine. You can hold on to both sides of the strap. You're going to lay down all the way onto your back. Just this a little bit more. There we go. So all the way onto your back. And then so the first stage, first area of happy baby, maybe you just draw your knees into your chest and you kind of hug your knees, right? And if hugging your knees doesn't work, you take that strap and you kind of just draw those knees down, right? Second, you're going to wrap it around your feet, that strap, and then grab up for both pieces and then bend your knees out wide while you let your arms dangle down. So there's that. So your shoulders are relaxed. If this feels awkward for you and you do have a little bit more range of motion, you can grab onto your heels, have those heels, and then relax the shoulders, let those knees come down. If at any time this becomes too much in your hips, because it's a deep, deep hip flexion, heels can come toward your bum and you can kind of press your elbows into your knees. So you're still getting a little bit of stimulation of those meridians, but it's more like happy baby. Instead of happy baby, it's more like child's pose on your back. So whatever's going to feel best to you. Once you're there, you're probably already there. Take a full exhale. Let it go. Dropping in here. Feeling the support of the spine on the ground now. Just noticing that sensation of having something press on your spine. It's the first time we've had that in this practice. Noticing the sensation of that deep hip flexion. Staying with your edge, that place that you can sit in that discomfort. In this happy baby, we're working through those chakras, the first and the second again. The third and the fourth, so that solar plexus, and then the heart chakra. And the different meridians, that urinary bladder, the gallbladder, the stomach, the spleen. Even a little bit of the kidney meridian. We have all this compression on the backside now, where before we haven't had that. So all those meridians that run along the backside of the body are being compressed, especially in the torso. Those meridians on the front side, especially in the chest, are a little bit more expanded and open. A few more rounds of breath here. On your next exhale, sigh it out. You're using the strap, release that first, and then slowly bring those feet to the ground, very slowly. Groaning is totally appropriate. And then if it feels good, lengthen those legs out all the way. And again, groaning and grunting, totally appropriate there. Deep, deep, deep hip flexion. See if you can kind of just notice that sensation, that release of that deep hip flexion, that energy start to flow through the front of the hip, down the leg, into the feet. Maybe you would feel it go up the spine toward the head and arms. And take any movements you need to let that go. Maybe rock the legs from side to side. Maybe give yourself a big stretch. We're going to come into a twist, a little twisted root. You're going to bend your knees again. If twisted root does not feel good, you can take any type of twist that feels good to you. You're going to take your hips, shift them slightly to the left. Take that left leg over the right, and then drop those knees to the right. So your chest is going to stay up toward the sky. You might need a little bit of support under that right knee or that left knee. That left arm is going to expand wide. The right arm is going to expand wide. And then just let yourself drop in. And again, if this does not feel good in your body, just draw both knees together and let both knees drop to the right. So whatever's going to feel best. There's just a little bit more stress on that outer hip of the top leg when you're crossing them into this twisted root. So again, here we're moving through those meridians of the heart and lung, through those arms being expanded. well as then into the urinary bladder, gallbladder, the spleen, and the kidney. And when we're working with that chakra energy, that prana, we're starting to move all of that energy up the spine. So all the way from that first chakra, that sacral chakra, into the root chakra, into the sacral chakra, through the solar plexus, the heart chakra, the throat, the third eye, and the crown. Maybe as your spine spirals, you can feel that energy spiraling up the spine. Exhale fully here. If your legs are wound up, unwind them. Take that left arm, bring it over toward the right arm so you're laying on your right side. Pause there. And then mindfully make your way onto your back. Notice the effects of that side. And then we'll go to the second side. Shift your hips slightly to the right. Right leg crosses over the left. Drop the knees to the left. And then expand the arms wide. And again, if it doesn't feel good to keep that leg crossed, you can draw your knees together. Just kind of do what feels best for you here. So remember, you're still about finding your edge, but not going over it. You're adding some stress into the outer hip, the low back, the spine. Drawing that energy toward those areas. But you don't want to go too deep to where it's counterproductive and you're actually creating a blockage of energy rather than letting that energy flow. Stay at that place of slight discomfort, that edge, and then drop into it with your breath. Few more rounds of breath here. Dropping in. Staying with the sensations in the body. Staying with those senses of being fully present in your surroundings. On your next exhale, side out. Take that legs, and if they're wound up, unwind them. Take that right arm all the way over to the left. Pause there. Mindfully make your way back onto your back. Pausing there for a moment. Noticing the sensations. Then take your legs long. And on your inhale, reach your arms back behind your head, point through the toes. And then as you exhale, press your palms side out your mouth, pull those palms to your heart center. And then again, inhale, reach the arms up, point through the toes, reach those arms back behind you. And as you exhale, flex the feet as you press the palms, draw your hands to heart center. One last time here, inhale, reach it. Exhale, sigh it out. Pause with those palms at your heart center. Remind yourself of your intention, what brought you to your mat today. And then allow yourself to go off into Shavasana. Widen yourself up. Use any props you need to. Maybe a blanket over you. Maybe cover your eyes. Let yourself find the most comfortable position for yourself. Really allow yourself to drop into stillness. Take any little wiggles you need to make your body feel a little bit more rested so that it can find stillness. We'll be in this position for just a few moments. And as you do, tap in, scan through the body. Allowing yourself to release any tension that you feel. Allowing yourself to use that breath to do so. Just dropping in. Finding what position feels best to you. I'll bring you out of Shavasana with the sound of my voice. Take rest. Allowing your next breath come in a little bit deeper. Just notice the energy. No need to move yet. Just notice the energy of your breath, the energy that is settled in you, the energy that is flowing within you. Notice those sensations. And slowly start to bring some movement into the fingers and toes, into the wrists and ankles, into the arms and legs. And moving in any way that you need to bring that circulation back, starting to bend the knees or rolling over to a side. Whatever you need to do to mindfully take your time, bring that energy back up. And then all the way up to seated in your own time, no rush. Once you have found that seat, allow yourself to drop into this space, onto your mat, into your body. And again, notice the energy. Notice the energy flowing through you, the energy that has settled within you. And taking this energy with you, throughout your evening, if you're in Saudi Arabia, if you're in the United States or the UK, taking that energy with you throughout your day. Knowing you can always tap back into that energy of rest and restore by just using your breath. Bring those hands back to your heart center to honor your intention. And then we'll seal that intention as we close this practice together with that sound of Om. Exhale fully here. Inhale. Taking a moment, think of one thing in your life you truly are grateful for. Hold on to that image in your mind's eye as you raise your head with a smile. Thanks for being here. Namaste. Drink lots of water, eat your veggies, wear some sunblock if you have sun.